The latest visuals coming in of Israeli offensive. Israel Defense Forces along with civil administration personnel were seen destroying an illegal home said to be of terrorist Mahmoud Nakhla in the Shukba village. He's believed to have been associated with Hamas. A similar counter-terrorism operation also took place against Hamas operatives at a student dormitory. The visuals of that crackdown playing out on your screens. An illegal house demolished. Rishabh, now, Prime Minister of Israel has repeatedly said that this is not just a round or just an operation. It is a war to the end, and it is reflecting in their activities on the ground.
Well, definitely. Since the land offensives have begun in northern Gaza, and especially Gaza City, we have seen IDF going door to door, hospital to hospital, universities to universities, or for that matter, school to school, or even, ambulances. They have ensured that they pinpoint every possible address where there is a Hamas footprint. And that is the reason that we are seeing that illegal houses are being demolished, hospitals are being searched, even mosques and kindergartens being searched. And IDF is coming after footage every day that how these civilian establishments were being used by Hamas to cater their terror activities. Now, be it the Shukba village or, the Al-Shifa hospital, IDF claims that they have found concrete elements, concrete evidences as well to sustain their claim that these, utilities were being used by Hamas to cater their terror activities. And that's the reason that the land offensive was necessary. That's the reason that the non-combatants were asked to leave northern Gaza and shift to southern Gaza so that when the land forces of Israel enter, they could not be used as human shield. The non-combatants could not be used as human shield.
And for all those claiming that there are no Hamas militants inside, only civilians, patients, including children, being targeted and suffering after Israeli forces siege, there is more information coming in. The Israeli Defense Forces have confirmed that at least 5 Hamas gunmen were killed by the troops during a gun battle outside the hospital. Rishabh, this pretty much confirms their visual as well that they have released, where they said that we encountered gunfire from inside the hospital. If there are only patients, who would counter?
Well, definitely, IDF has been claiming and IDF has been showing the footage as well that how from the kindergartens, from the Al-Shifa hospital itself, Al-Shifa has been in news for good 72 hours now, where Hamas and its supporters have been claiming that how Israel is right now denouncing the international norms and attacking places like hospital. IDF is very clear. There were rounds of fire that were fired upon IDF soldiers, and since the hospital is being used by the terror groups, it has to be denounced as the international wrong. We were compelled to enter Al-Shifa hospital, and while entering, IDF claims that we were assisted by hospital staff as well as paramedics and doctors that we took with us. They were accompanying us. They were Arabic-speaking doctors who accompanied us so that there is no communication gap between the patients and the doctors. And we also went with incubators and baby food, which means IDF is claiming that there were newborns and infants which were being used as human shield by Hamas terrorists.
They've also said that they have found evidence that supports the claim that hostages could have been also kept in the basement of this hospital. But this is not the only hospital that is being used by Hamas and the people being used as human shields. There is much more evidence that shows that civilian infra, including medical facilities, have been abused by Hamas operatives for their nefarious purposes. Yesterday, IDF spokesperson Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari had revealed what he said what was proof that the basement of Rantisi Hospital was used by the terror organization to hide weapons, as well as may have also been used to keep abducted Israelis.
This is the backside of the hospital. Hamas used this hospital. Tonight we have entered into this building. I will show you the evidence. Let's enter into the hospital. We're now entering into the area of the hospital where we had found the evidence. This operation was conducted by Israeli Special Unit, the Israeli Naval SEALs. This is still an operation that is conducting, and I'm showing you the first evidence to see. We are now in the area of the basement of the hospital. I want to show you a room where we found all the gear, the operational gear of Hamas. Hamas is using hospitals, like we showed the evidence in Shifa Hospital. In other hospitals, we are now seeing it in live in Rantisi Hospital. An operation still conducting right now. Look at what Hamas is holding inside the hospital. I want you to understand, this kind of gear is a gear for a major fight. These are explosives. These are vests with explosives. Yeah, it's a body vest for terrorists to explode on forces. Among hospitals, among patients, we have hand grenades, Kalashnikovs, and then we have the RPGs. People shooting RPGs from hospitals. This is Hamas, firing RPGs for hospitals. The world has to understand who is Israel fighting against. We are now in the basement, and in this basement we found a motorcycle. They were all used in the massacre of the 7th of October. They even have bullets in this motorcycle. So they came back from the massacre on the 7th of October into Rantisi Hospital with hostages on a motorcycle. We're still researching this. Yards from here, we find the chair, a woman, clothes, and a rope next to the legs. And look above this, look above it. It's a baby bottle. It's a baby bottle in a basement, above a World Health Organization sign.
And yet another evidence of how civilian infrastructure is being used to hide Hamas dens. Just 200 yards from this children's hospital, the Rantisi Hospital, the IDF claims to have found a terror mastermind's house. The property also shares the same compound with a school right next to it. Israeli forces have also busted a terror tunnel located just 10 meters away from this location.
I'm here in Gaza City. We are here next to a house of a terrorist. This is one of the senior terrorists who is the head of the operational naval operations that led the raids into Israel. His house is right next to a school. His house is 200 yards from the hospital of Rantisi. Next to his house, there is a tunnel. Now I want to show you an operational tunnel. The tunnel is built with electricity. We first saw the solar panels, then the electricity goes here, and it goes down directly to the tunnel. Now you can see the tunnel. You can see the tunnel. The tunnel is let down more than 20 meters down. The rowboat found a door that is bulletproof. It's explosives proof, so it looks like a hard evidence, a clear evidence that the hospital direction is connected